So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second QGA online clinic. We are very happy to have you join us under this gorgeous sunshine to focus on health and well-being through a more 360-degree approach. So today, our speaker, Charmaine Carvalho, is a director on our committee. And this is her second year with us, and her presence has brought an added enthusiasm and joy to our meetings and all of our events. So always with a smile on her face, Charmaine will be presenting us with a fun-filled and interactive discussion about wellness. So please have your drinks in hand and be ready to take a sip and soak in the sun. And as always, following the presentation, we will have a question period, which we will let you know when you can ask your questions. So just signal us by putting your hand up. So Charmaine, the floor is yours. So if you'd like to give us a small introduction about who you are, and we can get this show started.
Brilliant. I will thank you. Okay, so let me take myself out of there. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Very cool. Thank you, Melissa and Priscilla, for Melissa, for making yourself available to be my moderator on this. We did a little test the other day, and then today there was the big hiccup in Montreal that maybe because of all the power outages that people in Melissa's zone suffered, that she would not be able to do this for me. So against all odds, on her vacation with Priscilla, they drove into the office space to make this happen. So thank you so much. That is what I call a very well mind. And so,
It's our pleasure.
it's right. And thank you all for making the drive and signing into this. And whenever you do come on, so a couple of things. Natasha, with a little headphone on her, is actually recording this, and she's the host, and she'll be able to unmute you when you're when we want you to jump in and participate, and mute you otherwise, just so that you can have a better enjoyable experience. And stay on to the end so I can stop sharing my screen and we can get a snapshot of everybody with their drinks in hand. And if you want to ask questions and I haven't quite, had you jump on, then there'll be a little chat board, and Melissa will kind of navigate you through how you can get your questions in, and I'll answer the questions as we go along in my little interactive. So generally, the way it goes is 45 minutes and then 15 minutes at the end. I'll break it up to where I'm not preaching at you. I actually will have you jump in and out. So it'll be a few minutes of me talking back to you, back to me, and like that, we'll kind of dance with wellness. Now I will go ahead and share my screen. This is very new for me, so thank you for your patience. Here we go. There's that. And share. How are we doing, Melissa?
Yep, we can see it. You just want to make it a little bit bigger.
Okay. Is that good?
That's perfect.
Brilliant. Okay. So, Sip and Soak, I wish I could take credit for this wonderful title, but I actually was in this. So I'm a massage therapist. I've been a massage therapist and in the wellness field since 2012. And I got into it because I wanted to I was working with pregnant women and massaging them into a state of pain management and pain coping as they brought little babies into the world, and I wanted to be able to massage them and give them receipts for their treatments. And so then I went into a massage therapy degree, and then kept on going towards the fragile body. And as I worked towards getting different kinds of wellness degrees and diplomas, I really realized that that there is no one set way to approach wellness, that it's not just about exercising like crazy or drinking too much water, drinking the right amount of water, or getting all the right sleep in the world, or eating vegetables and the rainbow plates and all of these one-dimensional things that we tend to focus on. It's really a 360-degree approach to a mindful state of wellness. So I invite you to be mindful. Invite you to, if you have to stand up because then you can't sit for too long, I invite you to do that. I invite you to move your necks around. I invite you to be liberal with your hands and just really have some fun with it. I will go through what really the term wellness is, because people think it's a lot of gimme, gimme, hokey, hokey, we'll pray for you and you'll get better. And I will walk you through the language. I'll walk you through nutrition. I think that is where we start. It's what we eat that equals better brain food and therefore better body food. We'll talk about sleep, how much to sleep, how not to sleep, how to wake up the mate that's snoring next to you. We'll talk about what exactly is exercise. Is it as boring as you think it is, or can you really actually get exercise just from walking back and forth to the fridge, as opposed to having a big thermos of water by your side so you never need to leave your seat? We'll talk about different self-care therapies, everything from what you may already be doing, like yoga, to things like you've never done before, like a laugh therapy workshop. And then we'll have at the end a bunch of resources that you can will definitely get. I think Melissa and Natasha will have a way of sending this to you by an e-link of some sort. So there you go. I tend not to read a slide. I tend to use it as a dictation. So what we're going to do is really kind of get into the word wellness. So wellness is navigating the language. There's the holistic, there's the well-being, there's healthcare, there's all kinds of fads, there's diets, and we really don't know where to go and where to start. And then there's when we talk about the physical and the mental and the emotional and the spiritual. Mind over matter is something that we hear often. But then we also hear things like, but they said, so if the grandmother said it, then there must be some truth to it. And then we hear about, getting out to the gym really early in the morning, and maybe we should be exercising at a certain point in time of day because too late and too early makes a difference. And then we talk about, disconnect. Like now, I think in Ontario, they have the right to disconnect because working from home equals you're checking your emails. Like there's Melissa and Priscilla, being available on their vacation, running to the office to sign in so that they can be available for us. And that's really, but then they're getting a social interaction out of this. So full on 360-degree wellness on that one. And is spiritual really going to church and then fighting for a place for parking outside? Or is it really being able to offer someone a hand as they cross the road and taking the time away from you? So before I move on to some of that thickness,
Yeah, I think it's time we take another sip.
thank you. Cheers to everybody to be here, and here's to wellness.
Here's to wellness.
Alrighty. Thank you. Let's hydrate. So the mindfulness, I really think that, when people said, are you prepared? And I said, gosh, I can talk your ear off on mindfulness, and I can talk on wellness, whether you ask me to or not. At the end of the day, a lot of people will say a lot of things on mindfulness. If you're ready to get there, to be able to be present, to what it equals to be happy, to be present to others, to really listen to your own breath as you're listening, listen to how your tummy moves in and out, then you're being mindful. And really mindful is about breathing and to understand breath work. So to be able to listen and not actually to be waiting to speak is a big difference to that, because then you're actually formulating what you want to say versus listening to what somebody had to say that may be very different from what you wanted to hear anyways. Mindfulness. Within that mindful approach, you have the mental. The mental then is, oftentimes we had this previous workshop where we talked about a mental health awareness month. And so much of today's science is this. Yes, there's science that dictates, eat the rainbow colored food. And yet there's science that dictates that, plant-based is better than the other base. But at the end of the day, there's enough science that actually states that good calories is equals better brain health, and that it actually will equal better moods and better memory, and that equals watching the content of your carbs to your proteins, and really trying to get it within your food groups versus popping those vitamins. Obviously, with the kind of weather we have, vitamin D might be where we're shallow, but even so, managing that through your nutrition will definitely get better mental health. And that's where some of the links on the back of resources, I encourage you to be mindful to what's out there, being mindful to resistance to wanting to know what's out there, being mindful to not wanting to change, and perhaps getting there, and just allowing yourself a mindset to change. Physical is really about body and gut health. So we so often are okay with actually talking about the physical, where we'll say, it hurts here, and I've got a wrist pain, and I've got a neck ache, and my lower back hurts. And dare I say, in any group that I'm a massage therapist, everybody tells me about a neck problem. Everybody tells me that their foot hurts because I'm a massage therapist. Can I give them a head rub? And the point is, some of these things, when the brain health is better, you're actually feeding better nutrition into the cells of the gut, and you actually have to a lesser degree some of the aches and pains that you otherwise talk about, and you might actually have more energy to be able to move a bit more, equaling some of that movement and massage and body work. So really move it a lot, decrease that insulin resistance, understand what it means to know that you're cheating and be okay with it, because a cheat is good. It means that you're emotionally connected. And we'll go to emotional. It's a great lead into emotional, to discover you. The only way to discover you, and I remember saying this to my pregnant women when they would say, how do I get past the pain barrier? And I would say, understand for you what equals heaven. So go through your five senses. For me, I chose this background. There were so many backgrounds out there. I love the beach. I love the scent of salt water. I love the feel of salt water. I love the sky, what I visually see. I love the wind on my face. And I love the taste, even if it's salty. That to me is heaven. If you understand what equals that for you, if that means talking to a friend for an hour, that's a great connect. And don't feel like, oh no, I've been on the phone for an hour. Guilt, smack yourself in the back. We don't want that kind of, that's non-wellness. Emotional wellness is being okay with being happy, and get that oxytocin growing. Oxytocin is nature's love drug. Spiritual, so be prayerful, because that's lovely, and pray to whatever spirits equal your happiness. If you're in the Catholic faith, wonderful. If you're not in the Catholic faith, wonderful, as long as you find a spirituality that is really a goodness. That comes from oftentimes understanding your meditation. So really thinking meditation, words that are positive affirmations, as in want, I am now, versus I am going to, or I'm hoping to, or I'm trying to, just I am. So as I move on to the next one, I'll say, have a vision board, an intention to be open, and have a tolerant mindset. All right, knowledge is power. And so while I give you a very sort of little broad strokes of what equals wellness. And really, I want to navigate the language. So within the language of being well, and that is the idea of healthcare, and what people within our own cultural groups have most issues with, whether it's the diabetes that we know of, that we hear of so often, or the arthritic joint pains, or the loss of memory. They go back down to, number one, insulin resistance and sensitivity to insulin, which will be pre-diabetic or diabetic, leaky gut and IBS, metabolically healthy. We used to call ourselves just healthy. Now there's metabolically healthy. What exactly does that mean? TREE and OMAD, I didn't know what that meant, but that's time restricted eating and one meal a day. There you go. New language. Autophagy. Very important for you. What does that mean? There you go. It's out there. It's super important to understand so that when they say go intermittent fasting, have your first meal at 1 o'clock, they're really talking about autophagy getting into work. You'll understand what that is. This 1 hour is not about me telling you what that is. Empty and good calories, really helping with brain health. Better fats. We used to think fats were bad. Now there's better fats. Fats they're better than fats that are not so great. Good and bad cholesterol. We all knew that cholesterol was not so good. Now it's actually good. How then can we navigate to what we should or shouldn't do? And then we all often say he's a little special or she's a little kind of interesting. I don't have a pulse on them. We're all on the spectrum. If we all had to be diagnosed when we were young, we might have all been on some spectrum or the other. Thank goodness they didn't diagnose us and put us on drugs. But yes, there is something called a neurodivergence, and for that, we allow for the understanding of what that means and allow for differences. And then there is drinking too much water. There is such a thing as that. That yes, 8 glasses is good, but if you're peeing this perfectly white water, it's actually kind of weird. It's not you're not supposed to pee clear white and run to the bathroom 16 times and think that your water is great for your system. That's completely not right. But there's enough science to talk about that. So when I say traditional wisdoms and modern approaches, as a massage therapist, we had to kind of give ourselves a sense of what it is that we like to do. And we've all used the word sort of massage and don't really know what that means anymore. And people would basically say, well, I just want it hard, or I want it soft. And there's a lot more to massage than hard or soft. And so really we would look at integrating something like hunting and gathering, which they would do before, which really equals going out for walks and pick a blueberry. They're out there, they're wild. Or go dancing. They have open dancing venues. Go and do things where you can gather, and you don't have to gather a berry. You can actually gather together, and you can get that modern approach to the traditional wisdoms of being healthy. Are you ready for that drink? Have I talked your ears
Definitely.
off?
Yeah. Let's
And
take
feel
another
free,
drink.
even if I don't tell you to. Any comments?
Great so far.
Alrighty, let's move on then. Okay, so nutrition. So slide number 2. So to eat to live or live to eat. This was always a big one at parties, and we'd have a joke about it. There are a lot of diets, and there really is, and there's a lot to understand through the diets. And so I would say understand the basics and then choose wisely. And your mantra is really I can. I can be okay with change, and I can be okay with the mindset change, and I can have the desire to do different, and then let the chips fall where they do. How to eat: fast and feast, possibly. If that works for you, then be okay with it. Don't think, well, but there's go. There's a pregnant client, and she's not pregnant, so she gets to be put on hold. She used to be pregnant. So I have a special ring for my pregnant clients so I could put everything on hold and run to the hospital. But no, she's not pregnant anymore. Um, yes, so breakfast is golden. That's something that I heard at home. I'm not so sure about that anymore. I've kind of done my own research on that, and I beg to differ. And my lovely papa is listening to me, so you might have something to say at the end. I will have him say. The sauteed or not, there is a way to actually cook. So yes, veggies are good. Certain veggies like carrots perhaps give you better nutrients of, the don't wear glasses if you eat a lot of carrots. Don't know if that actually worked. We all ate a lot of carrots. All of us have had glasses. However, there is a certain thing that you can get more better carotene from your carrot if you cook it a certain way. So look up those things. What to eat: gluten, lectins, oxalates, the FODMAP, the plant protein, the vitamins. It goes on and on. However, there's a lot that it can go on and can be overwhelming. However, when you see it like this on a tiny little slide where I'm able to put it all in there, what it really tells you is that it can actually be pared down. You can literally go, what is a gluten? Which foods have glutens? Take them away. Which foods have lectins? Take those away. Which have oxalates? Perhaps they've already gone away. What is on the FODMAP that's left? Put that away. And let's see what's left. And then let's reintroduce. And that would be something that you could decide that works best for you. The hangry or happy calories. That really is from eating sugar. So you eat your sugar in the morning, a very healthy breakfast of banana and yogurt, except banana has its own sugars. And then very soon after, you're actually hungry, but you're on the road going somewhere and you've hit traffic and you can't get to your destination now. So when you actually get to your destination, which is lunchtime, you have to wait in the lineup to order your lunch, and now you're hangry. And if you had not actually had that lovely banana and yogurt and just waited, you might actually have had some calories within you that were burning, and you're able to you're waiting it out. And that's probably where that happens. And so understanding that there are those empty calories that you would have gotten from that banana and yogurt breakfast, that if you delayed it, even if you had that same breakfast, but delayed it, as opposed to having it because it's golden and because it was at 9 o'clock and I need to have it at 9 because I've always had it at 9. And so why not? And you might actually have a better day going in. So you start slowly and you soak it in, and you soak it in different ways. And yes, you can have your feet in the water as you think this through. You can have yourself soaking under some sunlight and enjoying it, or soaking in some great conversation and laughter with some buddies and thinking about what it is that you've heard or read, and test it one at a time. So when you go and you're soaking it in and you have the chance to come to a gathering and there are some sandwiches, you know it's gluten because that bread has got gluten in it. Perhaps pass on the sandwiches right off the bat and go for that piece of sausage that's also on the table. No sandwich, nothing. And it's okay that you're wasting bread, because it's better to waste the bread than waste your tummy and waste your health. Really think of your health as something that cannot be wasteful, that it has to be a temple. And so use your body as the temple. Reduce your nightshades. So some would say take it away. Everybody's addicted to the tomato, whether it's the tomato on the pizza, or it's the tomato in your lasagna, or it's the tomato in a salad. Everybody loves tomatoes. Can you really take it away? I did, but it's up to you. You don't have to take it all away. You know, for me, I had to take so many things away because I have psoriasis, and I decided, okay, now there was the tomato and the zucchini and the eggplant, and there was the alcohol. So I took away the nightshades and I kept the alcohol. And I had a very fine balance of emotional stability because I couldn't take it all away. And so the Goan in me spoke loud and true. And I did eliminate lectins later on. And that's how I started. I started with eliminating nightshades, and then I eliminated gluten. And then very recently, I took away the lectins. And I just have decreased my oxalates. And I still will cheat with my ice cream because that equals a very happy factor. But I definitely don't, because I have the understanding of all of this, and my mantra is I can, then I do. And so here we go, guys. Can you?
Time for another
Will you
drink?
play with me? Can you? I want you to interact. Can you?
Of course.
So what's your mantra?
Bottoms up. Bottoms up.
There we go. Bottoms up. All righty. So wellness is really a lifestyle, and it's not a diet. And I think one of the things I took away is trying not to stick to a diet, because diets can fail. Diets also, by virtue of its word and its history, have been time restricted. And you were so keen on seeing how they work within like after this, I got to see a weight loss. So I went into this diet because of generally it's weight loss and its body image. And then after that point, you're like, okay, great, I've reached my goal. And then you go back into introducing everything. And of course, your body's like, well, great. Brain's decided, well, the sugar's great and the banana and yogurt equals I'm hungry again, and everything's come back in and bigger and stronger. And so the lucky 7 diets that I have, the lucky because I've chosen to actually label them, because because you're lucky, I didn't have a large enough slide to deal with. So paleo, Atkins, keto, 20 grams of carbs, carnivore, 5 grams of carbs, plant-based, the meat is evil, says the plant people, vegan, Your omelet could have been a chick and you killed it with all those eggs that you ate. Pescatarian, which is really me. I'm just purely going, so therefore I'm pescatarian. Um, but paleo, I mean, they all have their weight. They really do. The science can dictate that if you really have this, it kills me to think of that beautiful baby goat that I saw in a zoo on my plate. Then I would say to you, why were you even in a zoo looking at a beautiful baby goat behind in an enclosure? That's how you could have any argument. But at the end of the day, um, if I had to just be serious, there's enough science to prove that protein is what your body needs. Your muscles need protein. And the older we get, with all of the menopausal symptoms for the women and the muscular, the lack of circulation that the muscles are able to retain in later years, and the cellular activity that actually reduces in speed and regeneration, equals more protein is required, and carbs don't do you any favors and actually are causing you the extra joint pains and the fluid retention that equals the swelling and the gout that people are having now at such an early age from having, the rich foods alongside that. So here's something that I want you to do, that when you're making change, because I'm assuming some people will be all excited and will want to make change. I know when I listened to something, I was pretty excited and wanted to make change. When you pick change and you say, well, you know what, Shar says let's go for keto, and so we're gonna bump up our meat, and so yeah, I kind of like meat. I have no problem with the goat, on my plate, so I'm gonna go for a big portion of goat. But you've not reduced your potatoes that are on the plate, and you've really not reduced the bananas and the watermelon and the berries and the strawberries that you've had before and that you plan to have after. So really what the body is now confused. The body's like, you've had so much of this, which is great, and it's got a good portion of cholesterol, which is good cholesterol, but you've piled on the bad cholesterol from everything else. Because the body's confused, the body is not metabolically healthy, and that's what that metabolically healthy is about. So now it's not necessarily breaking down what you need to break down at the right time. So I would say if you're going to try something, try the protein increase and decrease the other stuff. So you really give it a chance, and give it a chance again by listening to podcasts, understanding the basics of F, fats, P, proteins, C, carbs, and the vitamins. Vitamins that your blood test, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually, when you're told to go get your blood test, you can say, wait a second, I want to check my magnesium. I want to check, make sure that the little blood tests that you may not necessarily ask for other things. Say, I want my B12, please, check that off. I want my magnesium. I want my iodine. I want to look at these things. It's super important for you, so you can decide how to ante up your spinach or not. I'm going to name drop some of my favorite stars. So OBGYN Dr. Kiltz explains all about ruminant meats. Didn't understand what ruminant was until I understood that when he groups beef and bison and deer, it's about the animals that have the one tummy. And they actually chew the cud. You can look that up. They're better animal protein than pork or chicken. So yes, you might be thinking I had lean white chicken meat. It's really good for me. And somebody else had a piece of ribeye right off the bone, and they actually might show better numbers than you with your lean white chicken. And that's probably why, because the chicken has to feed on grain, and whatever the chicken eats, you're actually eating. So even if you've taken out all your grain, you've had chicken and duck, because you can't stand red meat, because all of your cardiologists before me have said red meat's not so good for you. And then before you know it, you're thinking, I don't understand, I'm going to give it all up, I'm going to go back to ice cream and banana and yogurt. And so I would say, listen to Dr. Kilt. He's really funny. His podcast is called Carnival Conversations. Cardiologist Dr. Gundry explains why lectins that are present in grains and seeds and nuts and nightshades can actually injure the gut lining, exacerbating arthritic pain. Neurologist Dale Bredesen, actually talks about plant consumption that's linked to Alzheimer's. And so, which is very interesting, because way back when the what Alzheimer's living that long, and they were able to live for people right now are getting early onsets of Alzheimer's. They're having memory loss at a very young age. And so when a neurologist speaks to it, there's different camps now. There are neurologists that are not quite ready again to make change. They're not quite ready to give up everything their med school taught them or didn't teach them, which goes to my next thing. Nutrition, in fact, and I'll just end there, is not something that is taught in med school. There's a tiny little sliver in that 4-year intensive training of med school that actually is focused on nutrition. And this is an admittance of any doctor out there. They haven't really focused on it. They'll focus on drugs, they'll focus on, chemicals, but they haven't really focused on that. And on the vet side, because I'm such a dog lover, veterinarians don't get enough nutrition for dogs and animals as well in their veterinarian schools. They really have very little. So when you ask your vet, should I feed my animal raw or kibble, they'll speak from what they don't know. So if you can do the same, whether it's your kitten, your puppy, and you want to understand why your kitten has allergies or why your kitten is peeing all over the place and not listening to you, rather than decide to look into their bladder problems, maybe change their little kind of snacks that you're giving them. Sleep, not snore. I got a little thirsty here because I was thinking of Eric and looking at the slide.
Yeah, let's take another sip.
Definitely. Let's hydrate, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's hydrate. Thank you for listening to me. Any want to jump in? Any comments?
Oh, I did want to say I absolutely love the fact that you mentioned how the medical professionals, whether it be for humans or animals, are not completely versed in the alternative medicines that they can use. And I
Yes,
think everybody misses that point. You think the doctor will tell you the right thing, but there's so many other approaches that if you don't look at the body as a whole, you're missing out. And the same thing, we have cats.
yeah,
So the same thing for pets. If you don't look into what could be better for them than oh, it's so much easier to give the dry food or so much easier to give the food in the can without
totally.
supplementing with something extra, you're missing out on something that could make them just as healthy as you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And so I actually, and anyone else like wanting to jump in? We hear some voices. It's a good time for a little quick jump in. Okay, let's move on. Sleep, not snore. And really, why not snore? Because snoring is actually quite terrible for me. It's not good on my heart. It's not good on the person who's sleeping next to me that can't get in the kind of sleep that they need to get. And so, yeah, you can, wake them up. Just absolutely nudge them awake. Send them to the next room. That's okay. Better for your relationship. Definitely better for your heart's relationship with your brain. So I would wake them up. Power naps are good. Power naps are generally talked about as under 30 minutes. So if you're on a cruise ship and you're sleeping for 4 hours, it's not really that good unless the other 4 hours you would have been otherwise alternatively at the bar. Then it's probably a good idea to sleep for 4 hours. But yes, napping is not to be considered beyond the 30 minutes. 45 to 90 minutes is what is considered a normal nap. I'm actually gonna move my thingy over to there. Very cool. The REM sleep, which you might already have heard of, is where your dreams are quite vivid. And that's where the bottom of your brain, so right there where the cervical will hit with the stem of the brain, and that's the thalamus, and that's active, and that's sort of like right when you're getting into sleep. That's your REM sleep. And then you really want for good sleep is your non-REM sleep. So that's when your heartbeat and your breathing decrease to the lowest levels and you have your best sleep. You want to get as long as possible and really with all the best nutrition, guys, and with all the great exercise. If you're sleeping 4 hours a day, it's not enough. You really need to sleep a good 8 hours. And so that would mean actually disconnect. So when you sleep and your phone is right next to your head like that, and your Wi-Fi is running in there, doesn't matter if Siri's listening to you or not. Siri actually just listened to me. you're actually getting 3G and 4G into your head, which is not a good thing for brain health. So you've fed yourself the right things, everything's working the way you're supposed to work, and you're sleeping with your phone next to you for a good 8 hours. Not good. So really important. I've got a friend who had I had a client actually who was coming away from double knee surgery, and she had a lot of insomnia. And so we tried different things. We tried the camomiles, and we tried, putting a fan on her legs because she had restless leg syndrome, which is what we call RLS. It was a tingliness, kind of like a little cramps on the feet. And so little mini fans and air waves, little flow can help. But what eventually helped was tart cherry. And that's what I'm having right now. So my joke to my sister-in-law was that I hope I don't fall asleep through the presentation because I'm using a sleeping aid. But they are fantastic an hour before. They come with sugar, like any juice. So you want to have it an hour before. So you're not, is it going to kick your diabetes through the roof? No, it isn't, because you would have managed everything else. You wouldn't have had the ice cream. You would have already tried different things. And so this is just one little notch. Um, Pillow talk is super important. And I don't mean sharing everything that you've heard at the grocery store with your partner, but you really want to get the suggested thickness for a side sleeper so that you're not sleeping like this for 8 hours, is really having a pillow that's this high. And so when you're on your side, imagine me on my side right now. So if I actually had to turn my thing, I was right there. And if I had my pillow, can you do it? No, that's not going to work. Never mind. Um, but you want to have the height that goes between your ear to your shoulder. That's really right. So that would mean if you are a tosser and a turner, then you probably want to have a lighter pillow on the back, on one side. So you have a back sleep pillow, which is much thinner. So you're not doing this the whole time. Because imagine that big high pillow. Now it's on your back. Now you're going to do this the whole night. Imagine walking around like this for 8 hours. I promise you, you're going to have curvature of the spine. So you'd probably want to adjust your pillow, adjust your mattress, so that you actually have something that takes into consideration your weight and your spinal health. So if you have a compromised spine, then you're coming to this wellness online clinic with a compromised spine. So we start here. This is your number one. I would say if you are lighter, then you want to have a firmer mattress. And if you want to have a softer mattress, excuse me. And if you're heavier, you want to have a lighter. So that's the way it works, a heavier mattress. If you go to stores like Dormez-vous and Comfort, they will allow you to throw yourself on a bed and check it out, and they will ask you things like how much do you weigh, and if and the proper, and this is super important because it's 8 hours of a position that you assume, and when you wake up in the morning, if you're cranky, hangry, didn't sleep well, all of that's going to absolutely, if you emotionally eat, you're going to start eating because your pillow wasn't right or your mattress wasn't right. So imagine if you change that dynamic and then you wake up, you're now ready for your day. A whole different approach to 360-degree approach to nutrition, starting from a whole bed thing. Change your linen as well so you're not sweating through the night. I actually use a different, oh, that just went up by itself. I use a different style of detergent. That's just me being a massage therapist because I care about what I put my clients on. So mine don't have forever chemicals in them, but you can do whatever works for you and your budget. Your food choices make a big difference to how you sleep, and how late you eat those food choices will make a big difference to how you sleep as well. So definitely, if you're having your tart cherry juice as an aid, have that 1 hour before, and don't put a spoonful of Nutella in your mouth after that. It just doesn't work. I promise you. It's just you're gonna call me up and have good words for me, I promise. All right, yawn with me. I want to hear everybody yawn. So let's try this. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Try it. Come on, let's go. Everybody go. Yawn. Really open it up. Open up the jaw muscles and go. Oh, there we go. My mom's a great yawner. She's the
That felt really
best.
good.
One more time. Perfect. How do you feel?
Feel
Great.
great.
Yeah, Blanche, how do you feel after you yawn?
She
Blanche,
just,
has Blanche been unmuted?
no,
Can
she's there. I think
unmute?
I think her mic is on mute.
Blanche, how do you feel when you yawn?
I feel great, Shamin. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I
Yeah.
can now.
I
Come on, let's
love.
do a yawn with your mics unmuted. Let's go. Ready? And there we go, my friends.
Great.
I love it. Thank you. So that you actually will feel better. I promise you. I do that often. You get more oxygen into the brain. Okay, let's move it. So this is where everybody says, Charmaine, show me some things. I really want to try some breathing, okay? Because I believe breath work is where it should all go. You can leave me unmuted. Sorry, you can leave everybody else muted just because I might hear other um, sounds. But so have one hand on your chest and have one hand on your tummy. I don't need to see your tummy, but I want you to be aware of your chest. Here we go. I'm just going to have you breathe. Breathe in, inhale, and exhale. Okay, how many, put up your hands just visually, felt your chest move on that breathe in? Very good. Okay, I don't want to feel your chest move. You are literally gonna breathe into your tummy. It's a tummy breath that we want to get. Your tummy breath in, and when you exhale, that's when you suck your tummy in and you breathe out. Okay, here we go. Let's count for an exhale. You'll inhale for 4 and you'll exhale for as long as you can. All right, here we go. So inhale into the tummy. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, that was a long exhale. Now, I do exhale long because I worked with pregnant women, but that's the kind of exhale I want you to do. I want you to inhale to the tummy and exhale that way. Nice long exhales really strengthen the lung and digestive muscles. So if you're feeling weak because you've had COVID, because you have compromised lungs, because you have a digestive system that's generally compromised because of sleep and cognitive health, breath work is what will center you again. If you're feeling anxious, panic stricken, claustrophobic, afraid, can't move, can't any of those things, breath work will totally center you. Here's the other little thing with breath work. If you listen to the sounds of your own breath, you actually remind yourself that you're in complete control. Oftentimes, panic is where you feel out of control. And so the psychology behind breath work, you're completely in control. Right there is how all of my massage sessions start. I get people to do some breath work with me. I then get them to walk. Now they wanting to get on the table and getting me to work on them, and I'm like, no, let's walk around the table for a few times. I want to see your stance. I want to see how you walk. So we generally will be walking with a shuffle. We're walking on our tippy toes. We're walking, kind of with a slouch. We're walking with our heads down. I want a straight back. So really, what I want for you to do is imagine you've got a fishing line right, this is a spinal stretch right at the tip of your head right there. I'm kind of doing that so you can see it. There we go. And imagine now that you're sitting tall, you're not walking because you're in front of your computer. Your feet are flat on the ground. I want your feet to touch the ground. Your knees are bent in a 90-degree, and you're sitting nice and tall. And a nice big Charmaine breath into the tummy and out. Drop your shoulders down. Feel your spinal stretch. And this time, let's do it again. And I want you to focus on this. When you're breathing, you're not lifting your shoulders up. You don't breathe through your shoulder blades. They're nice and loose. Anybody can wobble you and bobble you. You can be one of those little bobbly things on a car. And you can literally just feel your spinal column. Nice little fine fishing line just kind of pulling you up. Little straight cord through your spinal column. Your sits bones are deeply rooted into the chair. Your root chakra. Okay, let's do that one more time. Nice big gentle breath. There we go. How do we feel? Good? Thumbs up if we're
Great.
feeling good. Thumbs up if you're feeling lightheaded. Okay, it's quite possible to feel lightheaded with proper breaths. So after 5 breaths, if you're feeling lightheaded, the last thing I want you to do is jump up and go, oh no, I forgot something in the microwave. Better run up to get that. And then you have a dizzy moment, which is normal when you're actually breathing proper. So allow yourself to breathe and then allow for the comfort of what happens after you've done your breath work. These are the involuntary muscles we just worked out. But what I want you to do is some stretching. So let's talk about some stretching that equals the neck. Oftentimes it's the neck because we sit down and we do so much of computer work, fake computer work. Let's do something on the computer even though we have no work. And maybe every now and then we'll do some shopping. Otherwise, we'll just order food and then unpack the food that we've ordered. So let's actually kind of work this neck. So I want you to dip your chin to the center of your chest, okay? So here we go. So we're stretching the lower spine. So here we go. So little finger on the chin. And then when I tell you on the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3, chin to chest. Chin to chest. At the first sign of a stretch, the first sign of a stretch, you stop there. And now is when you give me one breath. Nice tummy breath. And let it go. And if that sign of a stretch has dissipated, continue farther in. If it hasn't dissipated, do another breath. As much as everything is good, overstretching is bad. It's like a elastic band. These are connective muscles. So if you pull an elastic band that's never been stretched, it's brittle and you can overstretch. So be gentle. Find the first onset of a stretch, hold it there. And then if it goes away, get more. And what we're trying to do is range of motion. And so the same thing now, we're going to turn to our right. And so like that would be the right. And you're going to give yourself a little resistance. So put your 2 fingers on the side of your chin bone right there. So just in line with the corner of your mouth right there. And you're going to turn to your right, but your fingers are going to hold you. And when you feel a stretch, you stop. That's it for me. I'm doing my breath work. My stretch is gone. I'm going to continue. I feel another stretch. I'm going to stop. I'm going to do my breath work. And I'm going to come back to center. Whatever you do on one side, you must do on the other side. So plan for it. If it's 5 minutes, then do 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. Okay? Start off with 2 minutes. Start off slow, enjoy the process, understand your breath work, understand your body, understand how shallow your breath is. Now here's a very important thing. You're breathing on the work. So the work is, so you'll take a breath in, exhale and move. Stop, take a breath in, exhale, return. There you go. Because the exhale is controlled. When there's no more breath, you stop working. You work on the exhale. Controlled motion at all times. That is move it, and moving it with a smile. No like, oh no, I did too much. Now I can't go to the gym for the next year. I'll go next January 1, maybe. And so that's what we have to do, is really work on the exhale. So now there's a little bit of like Pilates says work on the exhale, yoga says work on the inhale. Work on the exhale is absolutely what is recommended in physio. So should you hurt yourself in yoga or Pilates or at the gym and you end up at physio, they'll tell you to work on the exhale. So you might as well start with it in there and forget about what the teacher does, because you can't go wrong with working on the exhale. That's what I would say with that. So I want to show you something else that's super important with the hands. Many people get tendonitis and they don't know, do I have tendonitis? It hurts at the joints. If you can do this, hands together, fingers, and you can do this and there is no pain on the wrists and the wrists are touching, then you have no tendonitis. Then your pain is something else. You have completely lubricated. Let's try this. This is the other thing. Your hands are, now notice I'm not lifting my shoulders up. because I don't want to get anything else. So I'm just doing it for you because I want you to see me. Because if I did it here where I need to see it, you can't see me. So I'm doing it for you, but your shoulders really need to be like this, like Melissa. So here we go. So there we go. Hands together. And I'm checking my client for tendonitis. This is a self-check at home. This is self-care at home. You can do this for yourself. So exercise is boring. Yeah, agreed. But you call it movement and you get on with it and it's life, and you go to the store and you are moving and you are exercising. And promise you're getting in and out of a car, you're helping people, you're walking, you're strolling, you're going to the fridge and getting water, you're going to the drying machine and pulling things out. So when you're doing things like that, exhaling on the move. And there you go, you got yourself some squats, and all you're doing is taking stuff out of the dryer. So you can get your squats to the dryer, you can get your moves to the fridge, and this is where we're doing hunting and gathering and the traditional wisdoms with modern approaches. I don't have the time. Okay, that is a big one. And so I would say, just like I said, your body is a temple. I must eat the bread because God forbid there's starving kids in Africa. And then I have arthritis, and now I have irritable bowel syndrome because I had the sandwiches that I couldn't throw out. Similarly, we're talking about investing in your 15 minutes on your walk with your favorite person, your wellness. You can. So you'll do it. I'm too old. No, you're not too old. You're just not too old. And like my mom is 80. How old are you, Mom? There you go. She's 87 and she's out there walking. Dad's 93, Dad's walking. Dad was dancing last year. So I would say move it. You're not too old to move. The fun facts. Okay, guys, I want to do a little bit of laugh therapy. You've done yoga, you've done Pilates, you've done all kinds of crazy stuff. Melissa, you got to lead me into this.
Yeah, of course.
So we need to unmute everybody. Natasha, please.
Yeah, Natasha, are you able to help me unmute people?
Yeah, give me a second. I think Blanche, you're gonna have to unmute.
So if everyone can just open up their mics.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
everyone needs to open up their mics. See if you can open up your mics yourselves.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we
I can hear you. Yep. Okay. So fun facts, guys, and this is very, and this is where we go into laugh therapy. Who has done laugh therapy? Hands up if you've done laugh therapy. It is the weirdest thing ever. And so you put yourself out there to be weird with me right now. All right, here we go. So a masseuse. Charmaine, you're a masseuse, massage therapist. They were the same until the infamous happy ending became a thing, guys. And so yes, actually, when I get a non-registered number on my phone, I try not to answer it because today the latter carries licenses and issues insurance receipts, and the first greets you in a sketchy, sticky, windowless place. And I want us to laugh. Really laugh from the bottom of your tummy. There we go. Massage therapy became an essential service in Canada during COVID, which is true for better or for worse. Tell me why. Because you all wanted me to take away your stress. And I didn't like these hangry people coming in because all of a sudden they had time because they wanted to get away from their spouses. God forbid they were at home with their kids for as long as they were. So they were running for massage therapy. Clearly not fun for us. Body workers see their biggest businesses in December when insurance benefits are crammed in before the year end. And you know what happens? Most of them lose because they lose out their benefits. You snooze, you lose. So don't sleep for longer than 30 minutes. Get in there and use your therapist. Spa therapists actually get paid. This is a sad little laugh, 1/4 of what you pay the spa. So while you tip your waiters generously and all they've done is bring you a glass of water, the spa therapist has worked 60 minutes in trying to get you to be stress-free. That's a sad, sad laugh. And yes, we actually do laugh in the back going, what did you get? $5? Oh my goodness, I got 50 cents. That's what I did get. I got 50 cents once. Massage sessions is actually more than hard or light. So when you go to Bangkok and I say, did you get a professional massage? They go, yeah, it was in Bangkok at a beach. And I said, and what did you get? Well, they asked me if it was light or hard. And I said, hard. That is not massage. We actually will assess your physical and mental state, and then we won't actually tell you what your mental state is. We'll be quiet about that. But we will deliver a combo of the most favorable techniques so you can achieve your goals of relaxation. So relax already. Give me a laugh. Are you feeling better?
Great.
Absolutely.
And laughing actually does make us feel better. It's super contagious. It actually goes into the whole emotional place. So let's go into some self-care therapies. Let's have a drink. And you can mute everybody so we can get on with the delish menu of holistic approaches, everybody. So know your comfort. We've talked about that. Know your pain. Understand when someone says pain on 10, don't say I'm fine. I don't know what your fine is. Does this feel good? It's okay. Nobody knows what okay is. Somebody can scream with a paper cut, and others can, be okay with a stab wound on their foot. So you'll tell me my pain is a 10, and right now I'm at a 5. There you go. You understand you're 5. Always stay under a 5. Don't think the therapist knows better. The therapist is supposed to respect your 5. So if you say that's fine and the therapist has not said what it is, you'll be sharp enough to let them know. Also understand what your discomfort is today. Not 2 days ago when I walked through the aisle and got my broccoli that I actually had a pain in this right thing, and then you tell me for 30 minutes how it felt when you got home, and then today where are you at? Oh, I'm fine today. See, because we have to work with what you have today. And so even you, when you're at home in self-care, you'll work with what you have. So if the pain is not there right now, then it's hard for you to work with it. So really, as soon as you have the pain, don't dismiss it. Don't think it'll go away. Feel it. Where is it? What is bringing it on? Is it this move? Is it this move? Is it this move? And then find it and then work with it. And then work with the breath work. So give yourself resistance as you come in. Give yourself resistance and work with it until the stretch allows you to give yourself that aid, let's call it. So self-care for yourself with the crowd. I highly suggest yoga or Pilates. I personally prefer Pilates. Martial arts of any kind brings you that kind of like rhythm. Dancing is amazing. Tai Chi, Qi Kong is super spiritual and kind of allows you to be more centered. Travel is amazing. It definitely does it for me. Zoo therapy, what I do with my little pup in an old age home in Nuns Island, is amazing. And so if you can, you can take your cat places, or, allow people to get some benefit from it. It energizes me. It's actually found me a new centering point. That's in addition to, it feeds my spiritual. So within this, for yourself, there's something called lymphatic drainage, where you can actually do that. Let me give you, very importantly, where your lymphatic channels are. They are here by the neck, they are under the armpits, and they are at the groin in the inside of your thigh. And those are big lymphatic channels. So when you are actually giving yourself a lymphatic, you've got a sore tooth and you've got a big jaw from it, a swollen jaw, you'll massage outwards, always toward that lymphatic flow. You're not going to go back and forth. You're not going to press and go, is it still hurting? Oh yeah, it's still hurting. It's like opening a cut and going, has it closed yet? Has it closed yet? Same thing. Or poking a pimple that's not quite healed. So always outwards. Trigger point therapy is what I just talked about, where you're actually finding something and then you're moving forward. That's trigger point therapy. Craniosacral is actually something that is very relaxing. So if you're suffering from insomnia, can't sleep, panic attacks, and even abdominal stress, craniosacral is fantastic for it. Fascial stretches, things you can do by yourself. Reflexology. So let's do that right now as a closing. I want you to look at your palms, and you're actually going to, your right palm will be on your left hand like that. So right palm on your left hand. I'm going to kind of do it this way. And so your left thumb is very free. And you're going to go up from the base of your wrist, and you're going to go up like an upside down L. So up along the edge of your palm and then across. And that's going to help with the constipation. So that's up your descendant colon and then across the transverse. So descendant, transverse. And then on the left, you'll do the same thing, left palm over the right with your thumb free, and then you'll go and do a C. And so you'll go just where you ended right here. You'll start off over there, and you'll go with a C. So you'll go across there and over and down. So I don't know where I am with there. So are you seeing me okay? Here we go. Across, up to the base of the thumb, over to the base of the first finger, and then down to the pinky. So it's like a C, and that is again you're going up to the transverse and then finishing off on the descendant colon. Helps fantastically with constipation, helps amazingly with a headache, with migraines, things like that. This point right here is also a migraine point, as well as right here on the top of your lip. It's a big migraine point. So really push on the palate. It's the little fleshy part between the base of your nose and the top of your little lip curvature. And you push right there with your feet planted on the floor, not cross-legged, and then really pushing on there for a good 30 seconds. And there you go. And that's what that is. And that takes us to the very end, where we have a time for a big sip, everybody. So I let
Take
you
another sip.
know, as we take you to the very end with your resources. There's really not not much for me to go through here. These are things for you to look at your own pacing. How do you feel?
Excellent.
Feel good? Thank you so much. Talk to me.
Yeah, thank you so much for that presentation, Charmaine. It was really fun and very interactive. So if you want, you can stop sharing your screen. That way we can
Thank you.
open it up
See, I
for
forgot.
everyone.
There we go. Perfect.
I do have to thank you. It was fun, very informative, and you did a very excellent job of presenting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great
Very
job,
nice.
Charmaine.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Excellent.
Charmaine, excellent.
Thank
Lots
you.
of coverage. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank
Very
you all for taking the time and being okay with possible change. Thank you, Blanche, for having something like online clinics as part of our different activities that can engage participation with the membership and abroad. So we've got people, I'm a big sharer, so I got people coming in from Ontario and from LA. Thank you all for getting
Wow.
on here.
You're welcome, Charmaine. And really, I
Thank
was very happy. I actually connected very well with you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
actually, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and whatever you said makes so much sense, Charmaine. I totally enjoyed your workshop. It was very informative, and I'm sure people will try to do the things that you have suggested. So thank you so much. And it means a lot when people tune in and listen to it, and we have all this recorded videos, so it will go out and more people will be able to enjoy whatever you have shared with us today. And one thing I must say, yes, the doctors, they only know what they know. They do not try to tell you other stuff like what Shaman was mentioning. And that's why we say they only go by the book. But there are alternative things that one can do and improve oneself. And I'm very much into it. I do get you when you say intermittent fasting and all these kind of things. So hopefully everybody will try to take care of their health and be mindful. I love the meditation part. I do everything that you do, Shaman. So good for you. Bravo.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. And I just want a big shout out to Natasha for being available to record and manage all of this screen sharing and muting and unmuting. Thank you so much. Natasha, wave so people know who you are. That's Natasha.
Natasha.
Thank you. And a big shout out to
Yes.
Very cool. And then to Melissa and Priscilla on their vacation, guys.
Wow.
Went through a power shortage, drove all the way to the office. Thank you so much, Melissa, for moderating.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you so much again, Charmaine. I think before we log off, I'm just going to ask everyone if they can just turn their cameras on. That way we can take a nice picture of everyone.
And thank you especially to the South Shore people for tuning in, going all the way to Montreal to log in because they have lost their power. So I hope you'll get back your power. If not, do come to our place. Always welcome. And yeah, y'all guys are not paying your bills. So what can we say? Just joking. Thank you so much.
Everybody stay on. I just had a big shout out to my buddy Brenda,
Wonderful.
who's in LA. Brenda, wave at us. There's Brenda from LA. Very cool. And so everybody turn your cameras on because Natasha's waiting to take a group picture.
Sorry, I haven't been to the hairdresser. Sorry, Charmaine.
Let's put a beach thing on.
Okay, perfect.
Waiting on Prim, right? Or
Yeah,
who's
Tara.
Prim?
I don't know if Tara or I don't know who's on the Samsung, but
Who's on the Samsung?
okay, there's Tara.
You can see everyone.
Almost, right? I
Yeah,
think there's
almost.
someone on
Only
Samsung.
Amber
And
had to leave.
is that Amber? Okay. All right, here we go. I
So
think,
that's Annette.
Okay, yeah. Natasha, are
All
you
right.
able to do it?
look at Amber walking and doing this. I love you.
Oh, Amber is walking. Okay.
Here we go. All right, ready?
Natasha,
Good.
are you able to take it or you can't? Okay, I'll just try to do it on my own, okay?
Okay, here you go.
Okay, everybody smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. I'm just gonna check.
Got it. We're just checking
Yeah.
to make sure the photo came.
Yeah,
Good.
it's perfect.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful
Thank you.
Sunday and be well and stay well.
Enjoy the
and-
beach.
Thank you.
Enjoy the beach.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to stay on, Melissa.
Yeah, okay.
Finish, Anna? Oh, put it up there. Finish. Never seen.
Good, guys. It was good. Anything?
It was excellent.
It was excellent.
Super interactive. I think that's exactly what people need for a
Yeah.
Sunday 5 o'clock afternoon evening.
Thank you, sweetheart. It's just like, how am I going to do here? But yeah, thank you both, all three of you, so much. Really
Oh,
appreciate
you're
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
it. Okay. All right, sweethearts. Take care. I'll see you
Okay,
soon.
take care. Okay.
Okay, ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Drive safe, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.